And we're live.
Welcome
Back
to the TAE Time Podcast. We got Eniola with us today.
I don't know why I'm so nervous.
No
all
worries.
good.
Don't be nervous.
It's
Don't
just
be
a
nervous.
friendly chat.
Just a friendly chat. You know, people. You see, there's the same way Wale when it was on last week. Like everyone's not used to like having the camera on them.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, what are you doing? But like,
But I think
you just have to ignore the camera.
Yeah, but I think like the mics look a little bit intimidating because it's like professional, have to speak in the microphone.
Yeah, no, don't stress it. Like I literally just I just don't even care about the camera. I just pretend. I just look at everyone else and just talk and talk.
If I embarrass myself, you guys have to edit it out.
Yeah, I'm not
You're not
editing it out.
embarrassing
I'm telling you
yourself.
right now. So it is okay. But yeah, no. How are you?
Come on.
Welcome.
I'm
Good to have you here.
You're good? You good?
I'm tired.
You're tired? Long day?
Just tired, man.
You get
My
up too
work-
much on your bank holiday weekend?
Yeah,
Woo-woo.
work life is not for me, man.
Yeah?
Like I was not made to work.
So what are you doing?
Yeah, tell
what's
us
your
about
job?
us. Tell us about you.
Okay. I actually don't know what to say.
Just a brief introduction, like.
Yeah. Well, okay. What do I do? There's nothing to say. There's actually nothing to say about me.
What's your
New
job?
York.
Yeah.
What's your title?
Yeah.
I am a trainee underwriter. So I work in finance, essentially.
All right.
Nobody knows what an underwriter is, but yeah.
Explain.
Like, tell us.
Basically, we decide if you get a loan and we decide how much you're going to, well, that's if you're a banking underwriter, credit underwriter. But if you're an insurance underwriter, you decide if the person gets insurance and how much they have to pay in their premiums, and
all that.
you do the
so
risk
you're the
and all
reason
that
my
behind
car
that.
insurance is high.
Yeah.
Yeah, cheers.
Yeah.
Good to know. Good to know. So how did you find the journey to get into that situation? Because you went to UCC for 4 years.
Not gonna lie, I don't know how I ended up there. As in, I've just been going with the flow in life.
Yeah.
Wherever God wants me, I just go.
But what was your, like when you went to university, what was your dream or what did you want to do?
I didn't want to work.
Okay.
Like I said, I didn't come into this life to work.
Tell me about it.
I just
Preach.
wanna have fun, travel and be paid or just be paid to do my hobbies, essentially. But well, I did go to uni for economics. I don't know. I can't really say why. I can't really
just
say why I'm
chose
in
it.
my current job. I'm just.
So then I guess since you usually when you're going to the finance sector, most people end up doing like commerce or something. How did you find the transition from economics to what you're doing right now as an underwriter?
What I'm doing right now, I don't think commerce would have made any extra. It wouldn't have been of any extra benefit at all. I'm happy I did economics. And I think most jobs anyway, when you go into them, it's all learning on the job.
Yeah.
A lot of the times, degree probably doesn't help as much as they make it out to seem. But yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm so nervous. I promise I'm just nervous, guys.
You're good. You're good.
You're good.
I think you're doing great. No,
Yeah.
You're just confidently talking about what you do and what you study.
Confidently?
Yeah.
Confidently. But then, okay, so you think commerce, or e-commerce wouldn't have mattered to get into the underwriter field. But then how did you find then the big transition between college and like working life? And then, like, as you said, you feel like your degree didn't really help you any much. And I think most people feel that way because even I would say like it helped me in bits, but not like overall. But then how did you find that transition though between college and coming an underwriter and the working life entailing and then actually outside of work? You know, it's not the same anymore.
I think the biggest difference, when you asked that question, the first thing that jumped into mind was the holidays.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have 4 months holidays anymore. I have 29 days, and I'm lucky with that.
You are.
You are. So that's the biggest thing. And people think, once you finish education, that you're done exams. You're not done exams. Like, no matter what field you go into, there's CPD, there's all these other things. If you have to get chartered, if you have to get qualified, so many more things. And then you do have a lot more time as well, a lot more free time. Because I feel like when you're a student, you're always meant to be doing an assignment or studying or just one thing or the other. Whereas you have a lot more time for hobbies and like meeting up with friends and stuff when you started working. And I'm very antisocial, but I feel like I'm the most social I've ever been in my life, like since starting work.
Damn,
That's a positive, though. That's a very good positive.
If you see, for me, I feel like it's the opposite. I feel like I have less time now that I work than before. Because in college, I was like, because I didn't give a shit, like I was just like all the free time in the world, you know, I don't go to lectures, don't do whatever. And then I'm like, now with work, it's like there's like at least X amount of hours my day add up, and then after that you do go to gym. Then like in the evening, it's like all you have, and if you're trying to go to sleep early, then your day's gone.
But then with your course, I feel like it's very demanding, so it's weird to even hear you say, I didn't care. But like, have you seen other people when you were in college with them be like,
like they were busy all the
focused?
time, extra focused, but they were damn fools. Like fuck that, like, because in the end of the day, we're all in the same place right now. But yeah, no, I don't know. I think it's pretty interesting, like that you said that you have like more time for hobbies and youth, right? And especially like the finance field is meant to be known for a field with like insane workloads and crazy hours. Like, how are you finding that as an underwriter? Is it the same as like auditors who have like 70-hour weeks or something, or is it like very different?
Definitely not. No, definitely not. I see, the type of person I am minimum effort, maximum reward. I was making myself sound so lazy on this podcast. I'm not actually a lazy person, but I feel like I'm able to, I don't know, do a task in a short amount of time, but I'll still do it to a very high level. So I'll give myself enough time to study for an exam or to finish a task or a project or whatever it is I've been asked to do. But I'm not going to start doing it weeks beforehand and all that shit. I can't come and kill myself. Like,
you're not dying on it. Like,
I'm not dying on it.
Life's too short for that, like,
to be honest.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. Yeah, I'm kind of the same. It's like if there's work there, I'll only do quickly.
Do when I have to.
And then just chill.
And I almost need pressure. I need a bit of pressure to actually make me do it, because sometimes I get into my head and I'm like, God, like when I go to heaven, God's not gonna ask me about this. If I die right now, does this actually matter?
Yeah, like, I get you. But then, how does your day and then how does your week look like? Like, break it down for us. As an underwriter in the insurance field, what's your day looking like? What kind of tasks are you looking at, and then how's your week progressing?
So at the moment, I'm in the CRM team, which is client enterprise risk management. So that's kind of like helping our clients manage their risk or eliminate the risk so that they don't have to take out insurance, or that they can get a reduction in the amount of insurance that they would need to take out. And then in September, I'll be moving to claims, and then after that, like I'm just getting experience in all the different departments. So like my workload in this department isn't too heavy right now. I just had an exam there like last week or the week before, and results are going to be out on Wednesday. So things are kind of quiet at the moment because I just had an exam. My day-to-day, it's 9 to 5 flexi time. You can start anytime between. You guys and they don't care about my job.
No,
but,
come on.
We wanted to hear more about it.
Yeah.
Well, like, I go work, come home, go gym, and try to do other stuff. I guess, like hobbies and stuff. But,
What's your advice for someone who wants to go in your field?
She's like, just get a degree.
Why would you? Nobody goes into insurance on purpose. Okay. That's what everyone says. Okay. No one goes into insurance on purpose. It just happens. Yeah. You just end up there. So there's actually, that's the advice that people give. If you end up there, enjoy the ride. Yeah. Enjoy, like, it's calm. Yeah. You get me? It's calm, but
like, so is it like not as busy as the other like finance jobs, would you say then?
It is just as busy. It's just not as like prestigious or well known and that kind of stuff. Right. Like, you know, people think of investment banking and normal banking and accounting, like there's a bit of glamour around all of that. Yeah. And then insurance, people are just like, oh, these lot.
The people in the back, you know. But you still need them to get shit to run, so
you do need us. You need us. You just hate us.
Yeah, that's interesting.
All right, so you've mentioned hobbies a couple of times. So tell us about your hobbies. What do you do in your spare time?
I'm such a boring person, and this is actually, I'm the wrong person to get on this podcast because I'm a secretive AF. Like, I don't tell anyone anything. So I was like, why do you want to know what I do in my free time? Like
Anything, like even one hobby that you're like passionate about?
Yeah, I have hobbies. I just tighten up when people ask me questions.
Okay.
And I should have said this before coming on. I don't know why I'm saying it now. Well, I'm really into reading, and I love languages.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with learning languages, so I'd spend a lot of time like improving on them and practicing them. Yeah, I'd say those two things would be what take up my time most, and then just any form of exercise like walks, lifting, anything.
Yeah, and then when it comes to learning languages, is there a specific thing you do, or is there an app are you like one of those people who down Duolingo, or do you like do other things like the old-fashioned way of like reading and stuff?
Yeah. I like it. I like a good textbook.
Yeah.
Like on your level. Not a fan of apps, to be honest. And then I'd have a lot of friends from different countries, different places, so I'd be able to practice with them.
Okay.
But yeah, I love a good old-fashioned textbook.
Yeah, and just
That
like
way.
reading, learning all the like rules, and then just practicing them over with actual people. And then would you just be at phone calls with your friends like in whatever time, and just trying to do oral discussions and stuff like that? But
I rarely watch any like TV show or movie in English.
Yeah.
I watch.
Oh my God.
I watch like for Spanish telenovelas, and then I'm obsessed with K-dramas, C-dramas, Thai dramas, everything. Like, I'd watch all of them, so then that really helps as well.
subtitles on or off to try to force yourself?
Depends on the language.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I could have like the romanization, like say for Mandarin, or I could have the subtitles in that actual language,
so that way you're
and
forced
English.
to kind of pick it up the writing
Or
as
I
well.
could just have it in English, depending.
Okay.
It depends on like what my goal is at the moment.
Oh, that's very interesting. That's very cool. That's very cool. Yeah, that's an interesting way. I actually never thought about that.
That's the
You're
first
like,
time I
oh,
hear
she
of
finally
it.
said something.
No. That's a pretty cool way to try and learn something, especially if you have it written out the way it's meant it, and you're learning it. It kind of forces you to be like, oh shit. If you don't get that, you pause it, you go like figure it out, and then like, okay, now it sticks in your brain, kind of thing. You know, no, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, especially since like I feel like a lot of people nowadays use apps like you were saying, like Duolingo. Like even I was using it to just learn like phrases or like words, but it's not like, you know, learning the language and context. A lot of different things, or just learning words, essentially.
Yeah, but there are some people who are like, I know someone who learned a few languages like fluent, and they're fluent now in those languages just from using Duolingo. You know, so like they obviously have their own place, but I think it all comes down to like the way you respond, like the way your like textbooks are a good thing, and it's probably because your brain like responds well to them and stuff. You know, whereas I feel like those apps kind of gamify things, and it's kind of like it comes in light, but then when it gets to like the deep end, there's only so much you can get out of it.
Exactly.
You know? So
and people learn in different ways.
Yeah, exactly.
Same at school, like you're not all gonna learn the same way.
Yeah.
So it's just like
true.
that.
Fair enough. So then some of the topics, and these were some things that you sent to me. So
I'm gonna regret this.
let's bring some of these up, right? I think one of the things was like men versus women struggles. So what was the context here, like in terms of struggles?
So do you know what happened? I was talking to a colleague, and they were saying they just joined the DNI diversity group, and they were saying how they were shocked about some of the things that happened. And for me, it's kind of like you really just go your whole life not knowing anything or thinking that all these things are lies, because he was saying he thought all these stories and stuff were just lies before like entering the group and actually hearing them from people he knew and stuff.
Blatant lies.
So yeah, like people lying about experiences and stuff.
he thought they were just making it up.
Yeah.
It's like, people aren't
What?
racist. They're just everyone else is just making up lies. You know.
Yeah,
A whole group of people, massive group of people, like.
Yeah. So I was just kind of like, what was the question again?
No, as in like how the
just-
context.
Just the context. Okay. So then I was just kind of talking to him about that, and he brought up like women in the workplace and all that kind of stuff, you know, women as minorities and experiences of women and all that kind of stuff. And he was saying how he feels, you know, that whole phrase of people are just trying to divide each other.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
They're just dividing. And I was like,
that's like, oh, it's like
you're
a
just
whole
trying to
division
divide
thing.
us. Yeah. And I was like, no, that's not it. Like, this generation is just actually being vocal about issues and stuff that's going on. And anyone who says that, a lot of people who say that, oh, you're just trying to divide us or it's a division, you just don't want to hear about the issues because it makes you uncomfortable. And you need to ask yourself why it's making you uncomfortable. So, and he was saying he gave the example of like men and women and that kind of thing. And I was saying that like men and women both have their struggles. Yeah. And they're completely different struggles. And I feel like a lot of the time when that conversation comes up, it's like struggle Olympics. Like, do women suffer more? Do men suffer more? But you'd have to go through everything. Like, it's hard to quantify that. Like, how do you even quantify that? And women have a lot of struggles, and they're difficult. And men may have fewer struggles, let's say, for example, but that doesn't mean that the sum of them isn't just as difficult as ours.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, I feel like guys have this pressure to be successful or have money and... Or like be over 6 foot.
How can you change that?
Stuff.
How can you work on that?
And then obviously our struggles are like just safety, and we know women's struggles and that kind of thing. So that was the context.
That's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting that you said that, like, that person, not only was it that they thought that all these stories are kind of lies and stuff, but they're also uncomfortable speaking with it. I feel like that's a very big issue when it comes to talking in today's day and age about like issues, is that the people who you're meant to be talking to either don't believe you, or they're like, you're over exaggerating, you're
not listening,
you're doing whatever, all this. And the thing is, and that's the inherent issue about trying to describe something to someone, it's that you're trying to make them understand this is my lived experience, but because their lived experience is so different, they just can't fathom why yours would be like that. They're like, they're like for example, it's like no hate to anyone, obviously, like, but like essentially, like, I'm a white male and like I've grown up, I've had no issues in life, I've never faced any challenges.
No, genuinely.
And then it's like, so like you grow up, like, let's say 25 years never having any of these things. Maybe you've never even seen other people be racist to other people. So you're like, I've lived my entire life for 25 years, I've never seen this happen. I find it hard to believe that this is like, well, no, because your life experiences are completely different from mine.
Yeah. You know? It's like, well, like the things you're going to be discriminated on are like, you don't have that. You're not sharing those things. So why would they discriminate against you on those things?
Sorry. No, that's true. No, what I was going to say was because there's a different like perspective that I felt. So, you know, when the whole thing was happening in the US with like George Floyd, and then a lot of companies were giving like all these talks about Black Lives Matter and things like that. And I remember Ferg being like, oh, this is like so silly. Like, what's the point of talking about this? And I was like, there's a huge point of talking about this, because I grew up in like a really white place, right, Eastern Europe, and there's still very, very few like Black people. So it's not that like I didn't believe or anything. I was just never aware that Black people were faced with any discrimination at all, because I was like, well, I'm not doing it, nobody around me is doing it, how would I even know about it? So I think it was so important to like hear everyone speak up and like talk about it, because I didn't know it was happening. And, you know, I think that there's a lot of white people that do fall in that category as well, but it's the willingness to listen and like try to, you know, be open about it, like take it all in and then reflect on your own, you know, life.
And speaking of not knowing, the whole like women and harassment in work, I obviously, because it's only my first year, you know, working and stuff, I didn't expect it to be that bad. I thought, because you know, America is just on the extreme of all nonsense.
All nonsense.
It's just America. So I thought like, excuse me, I thought like Ireland, you know, it wouldn't be as bad. But like I was telling Nicoletta, we went for coffee last week, and corporate life is a scary place. It's a very scary place. Even my own experiences from that like one work night out, an event, and everyone goes to work the next day acting like nothing happens, and that's so scary for women. Because even when I did talk to people about like what happened, they're like, oh sure, it's grand, or oh he's a nice guy, or he was just really drunk. So I really realized that in offices, and just talking to other people who are working in finance or just any sort of like office job as well, it's like, yeah, that's how it is. There's this whole culture of don't say anything, don't make a big deal, they were just drunk, oh it's fine,
There's just a bit of banter.
Yeah. Go in the next day and everyone acts like nothing happened, and I was shook the whole week. I was so shook the whole week. I was like, everyone acts like nothing happened at all. And like what happened to me was more kind of like, it was funny but not funny at the same time.
Your feelings are valid, like don't invalidate them just because everyone else is like, oh maybe, like, did it make you feel like, oh maybe I shouldn't take it so seriously or something because no one else is?
It's kind of like, if I wanted to report it, it would be a valid report, but if I reported it, they'd be like, oh, like
you're making a mountain out of a molehill kind of thing.
Like this is just extra work now.
But you see that's the thing. That's what you want to avoid. You don't want to put women in a position where they feel like, oh, I'm making a mountain out of a molehill. Every issue is a serious issue, kind of, especially if it's making you feel negative and you get out of it. Like, and that's the thing, and that's like the whole idea of like kind of like equal rights movement and everything like that. Because like, for the longest time, especially in the corporate world, it was like, oh yeah, everyone's just like, oh yeah, hush hush, it's not that deep. And even for severe things, like actual sexual harassment and stuff, they're like, oh, it's not that deep, you keep your job, be quiet, and like, it's crazy to think that with the way the world is right now and how vocal it is and the Me Too movement, everything's in your face, that it still continues. Even, like, maybe not obviously to the super extreme that it was back in the day with full-on sexual harassment, but now it's like micro aggressions or either actual aggressions, but like not to like the extreme end. It's still like, how
it'll
are you
be
doing
at
that?
work events where they can be like, oh, he was drunk, and
or
things
stuff like that,
And that's crazy because like the way we're talking about, you just don't know these things happen or they're that bad.
Exactly.
That hit me. That proper hit me. I was like, yo, this is an issue.
Literally, I was so shook when you told me because I was like, there's no way. There's just no way. Like, the world that we live in, and especially, like, hearing so much from Farouk as well, working in, like, tech, and then being so progressive about everything. And I don't know, do you know what females feel like in your company? Do you think it'd be different versus
like
any?
I feel like the finance world is definitely worse.
I need to
honestly,
move to tech
like,
now.
it's definitely
Generally.
worse. Like, obviously there are situations that happen in tech. I think in tech it's more of a situation of women not being taken seriously than it would be anything related to like sexual harassment, because most of the guys in tech are incels. Like, they don't even know how to talk to women, like, But so that's like not really. It's more about them not taking women seriously, and that's the big issue in the tech field, is like not taking women seriously and not seeing them as an equal voice. And that's a big issue on its own. Like, it doesn't have to be sexual harassment for you to be like undermining someone, And so like I'd say that's the biggest issue, especially when you have like a lot of like tech is a very male dominated field. A lot of guys would have only been working with men for most of their lives. As I said, some of them might have never even touched a woman in their life, let alone spoke to a woman. So like, when the woman is like coming, especially if it's like a younger woman, they find it hard to listen to them and be like, I've been here for like X amount of time in the game, why would I listen to you? Kind of thing. So, but no, like, it's but obviously like it's very zero tolerance policy depending on what company you go to. Like, for example, when I was in my previous company, it was like, if anything happens, you instantly say, and like, we're gonna sort it out straight away. Like, they do not take that as a joke. You say it to your manager, like, it's not a thing, and like, obviously I'd say as you go up the ladder though, maybe that's where you have a little, where you have like like CFOs, CTOs, all those guys who have assistants and stuff. Maybe that's when you see some of the more like creepy stuff, but like, I'd say down in the common area, it's pretty much just like not respecting other people's individuality and seeing what they can bring to the table and just being like, oh, you're just a woman,
Boo. Boo. The other thing that I think that was kind of brought up was chasing the bag.
Oh yeah. So for the first like 5 minutes of this podcast, I was saying how I didn't come to this life to work, but yeah, I'm all for everyone chasing their career and all that kind of stuff. But I think this generation, that phrase is just thrown around so much.
Yeah.
It's almost like if you're not focused on trying to get rich or make money, then you're a bum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a waste.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I am career driven, but it's not my priority in life. Like, I don't live to make director or to make partner or something like that. Like, I want to be happy. I want to have experiences. I want to, like, make sure I actually have fun in life. I'm not just kind of like, oh, I'm going to invest in this. I invest. I do. Don't get me wrong. But it's not the only thing I talk about. Whereas I feel like there's this culture of everyone's personality is just becoming like, oh, what are you doing to get a promotion? Or what are you doing to
get more money?
And all this, like, all
side
the
hustles.
time.
I get it. And I've seen like a lot of TikToks as well that really push this. I remember I saw this once and it was like how, oh, well, if you weren't wasting your, I don't know, like €3-4 on that cup of coffee, you know, you could have done X. I'm like, stop. Just let me live my life. Like, let me enjoy the small things.
I kind of agree, but I also kind of disagree. Like, I think it's kind of good it's being shoved in our face. Like, obviously, I think it's a different story for, like, people that's all they talk about. But obviously, like, I think you surround yourself with people you actually want to be. If you don't like those people, like, you just get them out of your life. But I think it's kind of good because, like, for the longest time, people were not given the tools or the knowledge to, like, get money, you know? And it's always been, like, something that was seen for the elite or the people or the children of the elite and stuff. And now that you have a lot of, like, resources and out there, and people are like, oh yeah, get money, and, like, look how good of a crazy life. I hate when it gets to the extreme where it's, like, just essentially a cult, like, and people are just making money off other people. So it's just a multi-level marketing, it's the MLM, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, that's when
Buy my ebook to be rich like me.
You know, but I think it's kind of good because, like, as you said, like, you didn't come into this life to work, right? And the only way out of that is financial freedom, you know? And so I think it's good that everyone is, like, you're surrounded, the people are hearing, you're like, I want that too. I like your local XYZ bum that you saw like a few years ago is now freaking off in Dubai, well, off like in some like nice country doing whatever, you know, because of the money he earned from some degenerate crypto fucking stocks, whatever it is, you know, like no matter what way they do it. And I think that's good, but I still understand that like it kind of gets to a point where it's like people also need to, I think chasing the bag is fine if you're using stuff outside of your job to get it, or you're being smart about the way you're doing your job. If you're just dying in your job 9 to 5 and just being like, I'm just going to die in my job and use that money whenever, I don't think that's chasing the bag. I think that's just you being dumb and being plain into capitalism.
Unless you like the 9 to 5 job.
Yeah,
though.
like unless you like
it's
that
possible,
consistency.
but
like,
but you're feeding into capitalism. Like,
I think it's good that the knowledge is out there and, you know, free information for all. That's fine. But my problem is where people, it creates this kind of culture or feeling that, say, for example, now, I love languages. Yeah. I could easily just go and pursue a career in languages, which I will. And I'm just using myself as an example. But say somebody who is very heavily influenced by this chase the bag culture, or they feel like they have to follow it, they could die in a 9 to 5 finance job or investment banking job or something that's literally eating away at them and their happiness and their well-being and all that kind of stuff just for money. My problem is when people put getting money over their well-being and their happiness, because there's more to life than, you know, getting the bag
or looking down on someone. Like, if you are happy with the 9 to 5, who is someone else to come in and be like, oh, how can you just be happy with that? You should be doing XYZ, or guilt tripping into like guilting people, making them feel guilty about enjoying
or shaming them. It's
like, oh, you're going on another holiday,
you only have one income stream.
Oh my god,
don't talk to me. Oh my god.
No, I absolutely agree. I guess, like, especially in that scenario, I think what the person who is doing that, those languages, and they want the bag, if anything, they should be doing that job and at the side, like, doing like TikTok, YouTube, whatever it is on languages, try to make that blow, try to make money off that, or either maybe do some like freelance teaching or something like that, and then try, because in that way you can chase the bag, get money, and still do what you want. You know, like, you have to be smart about it.
But that same person could be happy just being comfortable with the money that they're going to get from their languages or like those kind of social media language things and all that kind of stuff. But they're going to be seen as unsuccessful or lazy in this generation.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
If you just want to be comfortable, you're unambitious, you're this, you're that. And I'm not saying that I want to be able to, just be comfortable and nobody call me lazy. Nah, that's not it. I just don't like the toxic kind of productivity culture that's coming up about it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, especially like with the whole kind of trend of like entrepreneurship being pushed in your face all the time. And it's like this. It's like, what are you doing if you're not trying to be an entrepreneur, having multiple businesses?
You just work?
Like, you're like, do you want to be a slave for someone for the rest of your life?
But the thing is, some people just might never want to own something.
Exactly.
Like, it might not be there for them.
Yeah, no, I can completely see it. Like, I feel, one thing I would say is, I feel like people who are like content with being just comfortable, I think it's because they don't truly know how good money can be. That's like my hot take. Because like, for example, I'll give you a good example close to home. For example, Boss, for the longest time, my younger brother, he was always like, I just want to be comfortable. I just want to live and truly do whatever, chill, right? And don't get me wrong, there are people that absolutely are perfectly fine with just living a normal life. I would say they're the outliers personally. And he was fine with that until he like went to other places, like he went to London or he saw me doing whatever, or going on holidays or doing stuff, and then he like went like, geez, there are people living some good ass lives, and you're like, and then you go like, I want that for myself as a motivator, and it's not like you're gonna die for it, but like you're like, it would be nice. And I think majority of humans are driven that way because you're like, you realize, damn, there's some things that I'm enjoying right now, but I could enjoy more with more money, which won't happen unless I do whatever. But I do believe that there are people who are like, I think the only people who can like choose to live comfortable are people who truly are not materialistic. I think you have to have no materialistic bone in your body for you to like want to live. But if you in any way have a materialistic bone, there's no way like more money wouldn't.
But is there ever like a cap to it? Because I feel like there some study done? Yeah, there some studies done on this? Like if you have say two incomes, right, from like a partner, right? Say you have like a partner and you have a family, and you're bringing say each like 80K each a year, you can live life very comfortably, still go on that holiday a year, and you could genuinely be happy. So like,
that's not enough for me.
for you
like I would say, like I've thought about it long and hard. If you really want like the cap to like have full maximum enjoyment where there's like nothing you can't do, it's like somewhere in like, not, you don't need to hit 100 million, but somewhere between the 50 million and 100 million range is like peak enjoyment, because there's like, at that level of wealth, you can go anywhere, do whatever, buy whatever, like, because anything over a million in cost, like, is just status symbols at that stage, like, as in when people start having gold-plated shit,
they say,
or like super ultra mega yachts when you could just have a normal yacht, like stuff like that. But in reality, like, because the idea is you could have like really good investment, really good properties, and they cost a few million. So that's why if you have anything around 50 million, no matter how, even if you spend 25 million like setting yourself up, you still have another 25 million that will never die, and you have passive income coming in. So that's just my hot take. So kids, if you're listening at home, you're trying to shoot for 50 million.
But what would you say to all the kids who can't make it to that?
Well, I hope on your deathbed you don't remember that L.
Yeah, no, I want multiple income streams, and I do want to be comfortable. I don't want to like have to go into work for 12 months a year and all this kind of shit. I do want a bit of financial freedom. I just don't like the whole
the
culture around it
kind
of thing.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
Yeah. Agreed. The other thing, this is a bit juicier, I guess, is the hookup culture. Today's world. What are your takes?
Yeah, you're single.
Yeah.
What are you saying?
Yeah. See, my thing is, because of my religion, I don't care what people do, and a lot of people think I'm very judgy.
Yeah.
I actually.
You look very judgy.
People say that. I don't give a shit what anybody does. You can sleep with Tom and Jerry in the same day. I don't care. Like, it's not my business. But for myself personally, I don't want that.
Yeah.
You get me? I don't want to. I'm not comfortable with that.
Yeah.
It wouldn't sit right with my conscience. It wouldn't sit right with my soul. I just feel like God. No, let me not say this because someone's gonna be like, "That's judgy." But I think obviously with this generation, sexual freedom and liberation and all that kind of stuff has been a very big movement, especially for women. Men have always just been dogs. But now women are like, exactly. And now women are like, okay, we're going to do our own too. And that's very fine. I don't know. My parents are very traditional, especially my mom's. They're very, very traditional and old school. And unknowingly, they instilled that in like me and my sisters. Okay. And I didn't understand how bad it was up until like last year. And I was very naive about a lot of things, about how a lot of people moved and just about how hookup culture was.
How deep it is, rampant.
In Ireland, yeah. I thought it was an American thing. Like I thought it was TV shows. I was like, God, these Americans are crazy, man. Like it's always them ones. And then I started like seeing shit and hearing stories, and I was like, so confused. I was like, what? That's crazy.
Okay,
but it's calm. Like everyone do what they want. You get me?
Yeah, but you're not for it. But I'll ask you a question. I feel like that'll make you think. Do you believe the reason it's very easy for you to look at hookup culture like that, as in, well, obviously not like, I'm not saying you're calling people who do it negative, but like in a like negative light, like that you're not interested in kind of thing, because you're the type of person who's not interested in kind of like partying, going out, or doing something like that. Because I feel like if you're not like in a big social scene in the sense of like going out, partying, doing all that, hookup culture can look very extreme. But when I feel like, because we kind of like touch about this, I'm a massive party person. I love partying, like going out. And because I'm so exposed to that, I don't see hookup culture as that deep, you know, as that. But I feel like if you're on the outside going like, that you weren't even into like the whole partying lifestyle, hookup culture is even the more extreme version of that, you know?
See, Nicoletta is always inviting me out, and I'm like, I'll think about it. I'm not coming. Like I said, I'm not antisocial, but I would have. I'm very fine with my own company and like a small circle of friends and that kind of thing. So I just don't enjoy parties.
Exactly.
I like doing other things for fun, and so maybe because I feel like when you are going to parties, you just see it.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're kind of
desensitized.
You're normal. It's normalized to you. Whereas for me, I'd be like, "Oh, is she going home or something?"
Like on a random night, you don't met this person.
It's Tuesday.
Don't you have work in the morning? So I'd say maybe that that would probably contribute to it because I don't see it, and because I don't see it, it's a very like far away thing from me. It's like my closest experience or thing that I can relate it to would be, you know, again, American TV shows and that kind of stuff.
So you're definitely the type of person who would prefer like setting up a relationship with someone, taking time, really getting that emotional connection, and then like pursuing stuff with
like I don't like, again, everyone has their preferences.
Exactly.
Some people would enjoy that, some people won't, and that's all it is to me. And my thing is that I'm not interested in that. You get me? I just want to be comfortable with it. Absolutely, essentially. Fair. And other people, they love that, and that's perfectly fine. And I don't think I'm better than anybody else, and hopefully they don't think they're better than me. But
it's just a shock. Like, you know,
it was a bit of a shock, just because again, when you hear something new, or something you didn't know was going on, it's a bit of a shock. But like, if you want to set up a relationship with someone before getting into all that, fine. If friends with benefits, fine. All that stuff, fine. Everyone's free to do what they want, but just don't come to me and expect me to do the same. And I could meet somebody and I really like them, and we're not in a relationship, and whatever happens. I'm not like, you know. Yeah,
I like that. You're just like open about it. Just touching on the whole partying thing. So I feel like I enjoy partying, and I think I go out more often, I guess, because of you. But it's enjoyable. I'm not like, I don't feel like I'm dragged into it. Yeah, like I'm like, oh yeah, this is enjoyable. But I'm not for the hookup culture.
Yeah, but I feel like if you were to compare the degrees, I think that's what makes the difference. I think you have to like I think you're the type of like person's like, if a party is there and I'm brought, it's fine, right? Whereas I'm like the type of person who's actively pursuing, parties.
And I'm running away,
and,
like giving up tickets.
So like I feel like once you're on the starting line where you're like actively pursuing parties, that's when it just doesn't matter.
But what does partying have to do with hookup culture?
Because like they pretty much go hand in hand, to be honest. Like you hook up, most of the people you hook up with is from people you see on nights out, partying, whatever it is, right? And like, and then that, I feel like that then translated to like technology. Because like think about it, on a night out, like originally you see a girl, you're like, this girl's fine, and then you hope she thinks you're fine. So you both essentially swipe right on each other in real life. You chat a little bit and then you hook up, right? Tinder just gamified that, essentially just gamified that. And so I feel like the people who are more inclined to do that are also the people who are more inclined to party in that sense, like constantly wanting to go out, because they know the more I go out, the more likely I am to get more bodies.
That makes sense, because I was considering like dating apps and all that kind of stuff. Like I was like, could I use one? Like I'm not ready to use. I don't like dating apps. Basically, I don't. They scared me. I tried to download Bumble. Okay. And I just like couldn't. Like that shit gives me anxiety. I had to delete it. Well, I used Bumble BFF for 2 days, just curious. I wanted to see what they were like. And then on the third day, I was like, oh, let me see the date inside. My heart. I just can't. I don't know why it gives me anxiety, but that's the same way like going to parties and shit would just give me anxiety. Like I don't. Yeah. So it was interesting, but you were saying what you were saying there.
I think my only issue is with all the people who benefit from the hookup culture, and then later on in life are like, I want a girl who hasn't participated in the hookup culture.
Oh my god, don't get me started. God, is them man with like 20-something bodies, and they'd be like, if 3 guys or more have touched her, or if 1 guy or more has touched her, shut up, bro. Shut up. All of you man out there, I pray your wife has the exact same number of bodies as you. Exact same. And I hope she lies to you.
That's a curse.
I was having this conversation. I had this conversation like 2 days ago or something. And it's all funny. Like, it's hee ha ha. But in my head, I'm like, bro. You don't know what I'm praying for you. Like
it is wild that it's like guys want girls who aren't like touched in comparison to them.
You want
like,
to touch girls,
then they're out here touching girls. But like, it's crazy. But like, we kind of talked about this earlier, and it's like you can kind of like from a guy's perspective, you can kind of see where they're coming from, kind of thing. But at the same time, it makes no logical sense. Like it makes sense as a guy, because you're like, oh, my wife is a prize, and like she's like the best thing. So like I don't want a trophy that everybody's winning. The trophy is meaningless, kind of thing. But the thing is, that's not how humans work. Humans aren't trophies. They're not prizes. You take them for what they are and who they are, But like, I think men, it comes more from the idea of, and people, a lot of guys are going to shout at me being like, oh, you're just being a little feminist bitch. But I think it stems from the point of like women objectification, where like when you see women as like your end goal, as a prize of like, my wife is like a trophy wife, then you obviously like, you wouldn't want her to be out here with bare mans, like, but if you don't give a shit, like, you're just like, it doesn't matter, like, whatsoever.
Do you guys feel like the men who are usually the ones like saying this are the ones who like expect the more traditional relationship? So like the traditional wife and like the similar roles?
I think it's a coin toss, personally. Like, from what I've seen anyway. Like, I know guys who don't even care. They're like, if their woman's traditional or not, but they want her to like not have much bodies. But then also know guys who are like not traditional, and then they want a traditional girl. But so I think it's a coin toss off on the dude's upbringing. Like, I feel like guys who are used to seeing that, and like their parents taking care of, like their mom taking care of them, are more likely to want a woman like that, despite even if they're not like that. But maybe guys who have been like okay on their own, like doing a lot of things, I think they just don't care at that stage.
How about you? Do you want a traditional man, or does it matter?
Do I want a traditional man? First.
Yeah, do you want a man that beats you? That's what she's
like,
asking.
With that whole thing there, first, I feel like there's like things that seem to be unanimous amongst like the majority of men and then the majority of women. Like the whole body count thing. You know the way there's like girl logic or women logic? I feel like that's almost a guy logic thing. It's just like innate or a nature thing. They just, certain things that girls want or guys want or that part. I think there's things that are just nature. And then but obviously like this generation we're going against this whole kind of nature argument, which is fine, you know, because people have abused that too much.
For real.
And here we are. But
interesting. Do you like? You seem like a relationship type of girl, and in our last episode, we had Farouk here say that relationships, you know, are boring.
They're boring.
So, what's your take?
Like, I mean, what do you want instead?
I'm fine with my relationship. I'm just saying, like, a relationship innately are boring. Like, you know, like the idea of like dying with the same person and doing whatever, like, is like a boring. It's a boring thing, you know. There's no, like, you have to create the excitement. There's no initial excitement there at all, you know. Like, it's you guys create it. You keep doing things, keeping the spark alive, stuff like that, you know. But obviously, like, that depends on person to person. You know, some people are like, they just like the idea of just having someone they call their own, you know, which is inherently a selfish thing, to be honest. You really
because relationships could excite you.
Yeah,
it could be exciting to.
So, like, what do you love about relationships?
I didn't say I love relationships. But wait, see, my whole thing is like romance and all that kind of stuff. It has been capitalized on. I feel like long-lasting relationships aren't meant to be this whole kind of butterflies, tummy flutter thing for 50 plus years. That's not what it is. Like, essentially, or at the origin, it was for the family unit and to, like, you know, promote a certain culture, or what's it called? Kind of stabilize society and that kind of thing, and just to make life easier for people. Like, one person goes out and works and the other person takes care of everything in the home. Like, just makes life easier. And then from an Islamic point of view as well, I think we're just created in pairs, essentially. There's that, like, I do believe in Islam and that kind of stuff. So I think your nature as well is to just want somebody. And I don't think it's meant to be like, oh, romance and passion and all this all the time. It's like companionship and your life partner, and you guys are like, if you believe in heaven, you're striving towards heaven, and you're just trying to you know, help each other on that path. And if you guys have a certain goal, let's say you want to reach 100 million, you have somebody to help you. It's easier to reach 100 million with two people than one. So I don't think, like, I don't kind of glamorize relationships and it's like, oh, I have this person and da 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 da. Like, I do want somebody. Most people want somebody. But again, it's just for me, it's about having a life partner and someone to make, like, not to make your life easier, because you can't rely on somebody else to make your life easier or to make you
just someone
happy
to be there for you when you need them, like, talk to you, listen to you, stuff like that, you know. And, like, I fully understand, like, and where people want relationships, stuff like that. I just guess, like, the way I see is, like, in the day-to-day, you like, in most things you don't really need it, like, you know, like, you have friends, you have family, you have
I'm paying half the rent here.
Exactly.
You know? But exactly, they're useful, they're convenient when they're convenient, you understand me?
See, but, like, if you want a family, okay, so some people
but for
really
the family
want
unit,
a family.
Absolutely, like, well, there's polygamy, so like, you know, like monogamy, it doesn't have to be there.
Let's jump this guy out.
Like, chuck him out.
I'm just, you know, like, saying, like relationships as a whole, like, in this day and age, as we move on in our thing, like, outside of religion, like, it's not really required anymore, you know, like, because, like, before, the main things that was forcing people to be in relationships back in the day was social stigma, religious, like, idea of, like, sin and stuff like that, you know, like, because they're like, if you're not with just one woman, you're essentially committing adultery, because you're going around sleeping around with multiple women, even though you weren't, you know, exactly, you know. But when you think about it in the modern age, it's just, you realize that you can have companionship, you can have people there for you, you can have all these things without it being a singular person. You can literally have it in multiple people, you know, kind of thing, through friendships, through partners, whatever. But at the same time, I do agree that people sometimes just want that one person, that the rock, that, so they don't want to have multiple friends. They don't want to. They just want a single point of access, and then just like, this is the person, and it's completely understandable. But like, you don't need it anymore. Is all I'm just saying. Like,
and do you think it's a case that we don't need it anymore, or it's just how society and like the general mindset of society is moving? Because a lot of things now we're being told, oh, that's old fashioned. But if those things, norms and beliefs and all this kind of stuff had stayed till today, we would still think that. Like,
absolutely. That you think it's like, well, I guess the way I see it is like, if you want to look at it like biologically, right? And obviously in this situation, you have to remove religion out of it, because like, you have to go to the idea of like us being caveman and evolving and stuff like that. Since human inception, like, if you look at it from a scientific lens, humans have never been a monogamous like creatures. We have wanted to create life and continue life. We've never been monogamous. Like, cavemen used to just fuck multiple bitches, impregnate multiple women, and then take care of them. And take care of them until the kids were of age to be able to protect themselves, and then do it all over again. It's over and over and over and over again. So like, humans inherently have never been like that. We've never been monogamous creatures, but we have been protectors.
Were the same women allowed to be multiple men? Were they multiple men, or is it the same one man?
Obviously, like, we don't know like to the extent, but like, we just know that a woman would be impregnated by some random.
Yeah, so the woman's whole purpose was just to be pregnant. And the man just do whatever.
The human's whole purpose was literally just reproduction.
Yes, but
like every animal,
look at how far we've moved as a society. That we're accepting things like hookup culture and stuff.
Yeah, we're
like,
more than that.
It's completely different.
We're completely different from like now. No, like, most people don't want kids. Like, they're like, what is a kid? They just look at it as a bundle of cash on fire.
Or can't afford to have a kid.
Like, to be honest, that's how I see a kid. Like, I'm just like, you're just money in flames.
You're just seeing that. You're seeing that million mark getting further and further and further
just
away.
Like, money, fire, but like, obviously. But I think that's why I feel like it doesn't matter what you want to do. I think my idea is like, you have to be certain you want to do it. If you want to be monogamous, be certain about your monogamy. If you want to be not monogamous, be certain about that. I don't pull someone who wants to be monogamous in with you.
Yeah.
I think you need to live your life as you want it, fully from end to end. You can't have your cake and eat it too.
Exactly.
Exactly.
That's a big thing. Yeah. Great. Anything else you'd like to add to that?
See, every time I see the light from the ring light, my brain goes. I had something else to say about that, but it's completely slipped my mind at the moment.
No worries.
But I don't know.
No, you're good. I have a quick question for you, Craig. So this is more of a like, what are your thoughts on like your significant other going on like guy holidays and stuff?
It depends on who they are and their group of friends.
Who the friends are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it depends on them a lot as well. And if they're easily influenced. But more importantly, I think it depends on the guy's mindset and who he is himself and his principles and morals and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. There are some guys that... It's so sad, I have to say. There are some guys that are loyal and want to be loyal. But that's my statement. And no matter what, they didn't go out to cheat. They're not interested in cheating. They're not going to cheat. Yeah. That's the type of boyfriend God should give me.
God forbid.
So,
it's pending.
Anyway, so if it's that type of person, then that's fine. Like, if I trust them, even if because you can never be sure who somebody is or what somebody's thinking and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
But if I trust them, basically, then it's fine. Matter. They can go on a boys' holiday. Even if I don't like their friends, but I trust them, then it's fine. But if I don't trust you, or you've been moving somehow, or you've been slipping up here and there, first of all, why am I still there?
Yeah, I was about to say, I was like, that's a big thing. Women who,
if you can't trust them.
If you can't trust your boyfriend to go on a boys' holiday, why are you with your boyfriend?
Yeah.
Exactly. But maybe you're working on building that trust. Maybe it's at the start. Maybe
it could be an insecurity thing as well.
But I'm saying, like, women will literally be with guys for years and still not trust them to go on a boys' holiday. Yeah. That's a problem.
Yeah.
That, like, you should not be with that person. If you cannot trust that person to do a holiday with their friends and not fuck you over,
Exactly.
Don't be with that person.
Yeah. And I also believe as well, you know the way men are like, oh, look at our friends. If our friends are scared, he's a scared. You too. If your friends are scared, you're scared. Look at their friend group, bro. Or they'll influence each other on what is normal or what's cool and all that kind of stuff. So I think, yeah, if I trust the guy, no problem at all. If I don't trust him, I need to work on leaving that situation.
Yeah. I think I have it quite good in that, like, I definitely trust Farouk, and I feel like the way you described, like, you know, the group he's going with could be completely different, but he's still, like, he might not act on it. But there have been times when some, you know, guys in his life would have been like, oh man, she'll never know. But the fact that then he came to me and told me what was said, that, like, it kind of made me a little bit more
Brownie
like,
points.
Okay, like, this is great. Like, this.
Yeah, Nicoletta, look. I didn't cheat.
If I wasn't like you.
He knows what he's doing.
In reality,
here.
he cheated. He's just like, yeah.
Just so you know, this is what happened. But no, I like that's, you know, that's quite nice when they reassure you.
Yeah.
And then the other question, this is just the last question I have for you, is like, how do you feel about girl best friends? Like your partner's girl best friends.
Oh, look, do you see that? She went. She really like took a breath. You know that. You know where that's going, lads. You know where that's going.
See, with that, that's a sticky one. That's a sticky one because yeah, honestly, because I feel like when a girl and guy are generally just friends, it's always on the guy's part. I'm not even gonna lie. It's not only on the guy's part, because girls can have hidden agendas and all that stuff too, but the guy has to not find that girl attractive at all. For whatever reason, whether it's because he knows her too well and her personality is just trash, or he knows she's crazy or a psycho, whatever, or she's just...
He's seen her move and then he's like, I don't want that for my life.
Yeah, but the guy has to have no interest.
Okay, I'll give you two scenarios because I feel like there are two scenarios that make it different, right?
Okay.
A guy who has been best friend with this girl since they were young for a time because they were neighbors, they went to the same thing, whatever, right? And they've always been together and they've never even had to go at each other ever. Right, I feel like that's a safe choice. Or a guy who generally just doesn't care about, he doesn't see male female friends, he just sees them friends all the same, and so he's able to make friends with lots of different people.
Yeah.
With like, how do you feel about either of those guys? First the first one, then the second one.
Okay, so with the first one, I think there almost needs to have been some sort of attraction, and then been like, oh, it's just the friendship. Oh, so
you would want them to at least have known that they actually don't.
Yeah.
Want. Okay.
I would rather that it's confirmed that there's nothing there.
Okay.
Like something
then
happened or they thought about it. Then it's like, yeah, you know what's it called? Your safety net wife.
Yeah.
You hear that phrase, that kind of thing. I would, in that situation, I think something almost needs to have happened, or they've thought about it, or they felt it, or whatever, and it was like, nah. And then for this, I think that's the only way for that first scenario.
With that first scenario as well, I think there's a lot of girls in that situation who become very almost like, I'm the main girl.
Territorial.
Yeah.
Territorial.
And I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Like, you can't do that to, you know, someone entering a relationship. So I think it's how the guy takes it from there. Like, is he capable to see how this girl is making his current partner feel? Exactly. Is he going to do anything about it? Is he going to say anything? So there's that 100%. Element.
Women just want to make
he needs
trouble
to draw that
lives,
line. No.
Making me have awkward conversations I don't want to have.
So I should just leave.
Definitely
like, I'll just
him after. Definitely.
I'll just leave you with your girl. I'll just leave your girl best friend and leave.
Yeah, she won't give me wala like you.
No, like 100. Do you see those text messages? Why can't I talk? Text messages, and they're like, well, he's been my best friend for da 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 da. If I tell him this, then da da da.
Oh my god! Hands are going up. You shut up.
It's such a red flag. I'm almost like, I wouldn't even be interested in getting to know the guy. I'm like, listen, she's in your life. Just stay with her.
Especially if they don't draw the line, because that means they themselves subconsciously.
But isn't that the same thing as like mama's boys? Who like let their mom always influence them about women and stuff, and their mom's opinion matters a lot. It's essentially the same thing.
In a way,
not your mom.
In a way, there's a different element though. There's certain elements that are the same, but then as well, the fact that they're kind of putting this girl above their partner or whatever, it shows that that girl has priority. Above their partner.
But it's fine if your mom has priority.
She gave birth to you. Like, she gave birth to you, like.
Yeah.
But if if the girl best friend has priority over you, that's a problem, because that means you're disposable to him. But no matter like what girl comes next, that girl is still above.
Yeah. How about if eventually, like, at the start, I feel like I can see how it'd be that way, like, because it's like how at the start of my relationship or any guy's relationship, your boys kind of mean a lot to you in comparison to your girl, because your boys have always been there. They've been through all the girls. They've, like, as they say, your friends will be there. No matter how many girls you've been through or how many people you've been with, your friends are there before your relationship and after your relationship, right? So, like, at the start, like, you're more likely to side with your friends than you are to with your partner. But then over time, when you start truly to love, care, everything for your partner, then you start to strike that balance, So, how do you feel like? Do you feel like you're not even giving them the chance to strike that balance?
It's different, I think. Because same me now, because I've been very close with my guy neighbor, but I've always drawn a line. Yeah. Like, I think male and female differences are friendships are just different, just because just because that's just what happens. And I think you do need to draw that line, even though a lot of people would have been like, oh, like, this is my best friend, like my neighbor and all this kind of stuff. And I would have considered him a very close friend, like best friend even at times. But I would never go out of my way to like spend loads of time with him, or to like be going to his house all the time, or knocking for him and all this kind of stuff excessively. Even if I don't have a boyfriend, because it will work for me, a guy tomorrow, and I'm like, oh yeah, how do I explain? I'm always in this guy's house, but he's just my friend. Maybe again it's the traditional.
But once again,
thing,
I think that comes down, and that kind of goes into the second type of guy, where it's like they don't see the gender, and I think that's because like you're seeing it from a gender point of view. Like, this is a guy best friend, this is a girl best friend. The people who are just like, this is just my best friend. Who, like, for example, you would go to your girl best friend's house all the time, hang around with her all the time. A guy comes into your life, right? You guys are still doing that. Let's say you're still doing that at the same frequency, right? But then eventually, as you start to grow with your partner and get to care for them, you're like, yo, no, I need to spend more time with my partner. And eventually, your girl understands that, that it is, you're happy, that's fine.
But my girls aren't interfering. They're not saying,
no, let's now flip it the other way. The girl's not interfering, and it just happens to be the boy that's best friends with her.
But we didn't say that.
No, I'm just saying that's the scenario. Is that okay? Is that fine? Like, it's just like eventually, as slowly over time. She has priority at the start, but as you're
why does she have priority at the start? Your boys don't have priority. Like, are your boys here down your face being like, oh, like, no, fuck her, like, man, be with us?
No, we're not talking about the friends being negative. We're talking about like you just happen to spend more time with your friends than with your girlfriend, right? So like, for example, when we started dating, for a long time, I was spending more time with my friends than I was with you, because like they've been there before you.
Not really.
Right? No, I know, but
not really. I think when you first meet someone, you want to get to know them, and you start to prioritize them over your friends until it balances out that you spend equal time.
But I'm saying, like, if you do spend more time and then eventually you don't, like that, I feel like that's fine. Then I fully agree with you that if the person is like, fuck this person while you're hanging around with them, nah, that's not on. Because a true friend, yes, it might be annoying, but a true friend should be like, just don't get over it quick, But like, if they're interfering, you're like, why are you interfering? Unless obviously they see that person, they're like, this person's not good for you,
See, my thing is that, like, the difference between a guy that's just your friend and your boyfriend, because I think relationships should be built on friendship. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So then the only difference there is the physical stuff. Yeah. But I feel like physical lines, if you allow yourself, could easily be crossed, especially if one of the people is interested. Mm-hmm. And again, when there is friendship between like opposite genders, I think some people confuse that with liking the person, fancying the person, or whatever. And my thing is, like, with girls, okay, we can sleep in the same bed, we can do this, we can do that, and that's just my friend. Yeah.
But you can do the same thing with a guy.
No. You can't.
You can.
Get changed in the same room.
There are some people who just generally don't care. I think.
See, my problem with the second person, with the second guy, is that, okay, but how, if this girl starts to show interest in you, you're not gonna know.
That's my problem. I was about to say that.
If my boy was to start showing interest in me, I wouldn't know until.
But I was about to use you as an example. Yeah. You are literally. They could be smack you in the face with how into they are, and you just be like, what's going on? And I'm like, But like most people aren't like that. Most people can tell that someone's making a move on them, or like you know, they're dropping hints, or like curling their hair when they're around and stuff, and you wouldn't make anything of it. But most people do.
But in that situation, then it's a matter of respect and for your partner, because if you're always around this girl who's clearly showing interest in you, but you don't see gender. See, to me, that's like saying you don't see your color. Like, what are you saying?
It's a bit.
But I think for friendship, it's kind of different. Like, because it's just like
that's something a guy would say. That's
because you're not noticing the hints that she's dropping. What?
Yeah. So now you're always going and hanging out with this girl who's clearly showing interest in you.
Yeah.
Other people are probably her friends, whatever it is. They're gonna know that she is interested in you and she likes you. You're not disrespecting your partner because you're entertaining this female who's trying you, essentially. Everyone can see that this girl is making moves on you, and you two, you're going off and you're having your hangouts and buddy time when everybody can see she's interested in you. And say now Nicoletta's at home, it's like, oh, where's Farouk? Farouk is with Saoirse. Saoirse. They're just friends. Like, everyone knows Saoirse's trying to like hop on you. It's a matter of disrespect. It's like if Nicoletta had a colleague at work and she's like, oh no, he's just my colleague, he's just my friend, and you can see this guy's actively just trying, and it doesn't matter how she feels about the colleague, it's just how the fact that
perceive it and how you feel about what's going on.
Not even that. It's not even that. It's just, I feel like it's almost a respect thing.
Okay.
It's because even if she's not interested, it's the fact that she's allowing this person who's making moves on her all the time to be around her so much.
And make the moves.
And to make those moves. And she's not crossing that line because it's her friend and this. It's just weird. It's just uncomfortable.
I can see that viewpoint, I guess. Like, I think it does come from a thing. I think it's because, like, I don't want to sound bad, but like I feel like most guy friendships, like especially like if you look at all those memes, like guys become friends very easily, right? I feel like guys' friendship have no walls, no borders. It's just like a thing of purity, and there's no glasses, right? I tend to find that most women, when they're friends with each other, you're friends with each other, but there's like, it's like there's like a filter there. You're always like on your ones. You're like, this girl could fuck me up, you know, like, whereas guys don't ever think that. They're just like, this is my best friend.
It could be because experience taught us that.
And it could be like, because like, as I always say, and I'll say it to the day, like, women are other women's worst enemy, like, as much 100%. As they want to say.
No, I get that. I agree. Like with girls as well, we don't trust girls. Girls don't trust other girls, and because I feel like girls are competitive, and I've said this to people as well. Even I've seen it. Even if a girl is not interested in a guy, just because that guy is taken, she wants to snatch him just to be able to say she took him. 100%. She just took him. Even if she doesn't like the guy, she just wants to be able to say, I can steal your man. Like,
literally, some girl tried to do that while he was with me, while we were together, physically.
No respect,
I'm like, shook. Because what are you meant to do?
And you see that a lot with girl best friends. You genuinely do. It's like, okay, who does he value more, or who does he? Even if they just want to be your friend.
And I think that's the core issue.
Girls. I'm not gonna lie, we're probably
girls are the core issue.
But you're allowing it.
Yeah.
You know?
If you put,
I think that's what my point is. For guys, it's hard to do because guys don't have that issue. It's this whole thing of like you grow your entire life always being open friends with so many guys, and you never see that. But then the moment it's with a girl, obviously, you have to then unlearn everything you've learned and be like, oh, maybe she's actually on my ones.
But hang on.
You know?
Because a guy is not coming at you trying to get with you. So why are you not able to distinguish between a friendship and someone trying to make moves?
Let's be honest. Guys' friendships are like borderline gay. Like, you guys be doing stuff like you guys
girls.
be hanging. No, I mean like guy ones like you be smacking each other, doing whatever, sleeping in the same
bed. But when
like,
they first come to you on a deep night out,
you know, like. No. I mean, it's like, it's never that deep, like, right? As you say. So if a girl's like moving with you as close as your boy's moving with you, you don't see it. It's just like the same way your boys are moving.
But you have to look at, do girls move like that?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, unless you have so much experience, like a lot of people are oblivious. I think you guys are miscounting for all the oblivious people in the world.
No, we do. I understand that, okay, maybe first time around it happens, like it's his first relationship, whatever it is.
Yeah.
First time a girl's, moving to him when he's in a relationship, he's not going to clock. But if you're a girl, it's the same way if you were telling us, yo, like, I'm not comfortable around that guy, you'd want us to listen and respect
Absolutely,
that.
yeah.
It's the same way we know girls,
That
and
you
we'd be
expect.
like, yeah.
I fully agree
But
with
if I'm not telling you, guy,
Yo,
she asked for your number, and you're saying, she just wants to be friendly. She just wants to.
But think about it. That's what I was alluding to. That it's kind of like the same thing as that. Like, as a white person going like, oh, I've grown up my entire life never seen this. So like, now that you're telling me, how am I meant to believe it? It's essentially the same thing, right?
Or you could be listening and be like, oh my god, I never knew.
Yeah.
My
Like,
bad.
that's your experience. That shit happens,
and
bro.
I believe that's what you should do. But like, as we've seen, it's very hard for humans to just take it up at face value. You know, they're like, oh, I thought these stories were lies. You know, oh, I thought everything my girlfriend was saying was because of insecurity. But in reality, this girl's trying to lips me. You know.
I don't know. I think like Annie said, there are levels like if you're willing to listen, you know, and try to be a bit more observant of girls trying to make moves on you, because if you're just gonna continue being oblivious, it's like I'm wasting my time.
I think, like,
with you.
after your first relationship, you should know better. Like, you know, if that was the main reason that affected your first relationship, at that point you have to reflect and be like, yo, how can I make sure this doesn't happen in the future? You know, and you gotta work on that. Like, if you're doing it over and over, you're just playing games.
Yeah. At that stage, you just want the attention.
Yeah.
And that's what it's gonna seem like, because
yeah, absolutely.
Genuinely.
Fair enough. Well, anything else you'd like to say?
Any
bring
closing
up?
statements? Any closing arguments you have?
Watch how everything's gonna come to my head as soon as this mic goes off.
That's kind
TAE Time listeners, I promise I'm not. I'm just very nervous.
Camera shy.
Yeah, camera shy. Probably seen me the whole time trying to be like this, but I'm not. I can talk, I promise. I have valid points. I'm just a very awkward person.
Yeah, don't worry, it's fine.
I think you came across very well, so thank you for coming on. It's very nice hearing your points.
Thanks for having me.
So, till next time, gang.
Oh, peace.